a day.
JVT is here. It is Cofield. Barry Odom joining us for a few more minutes. We appreciate him giving us all this time. John, I want you to go wherever you want to go here because I have a billion directions we can go in, but you're the star of the show with Coach.
I am?
Yeah, why not?
Well, if we do that, then I'm going to talk about like a bunch of ridiculous things. So I don't know if you want me to do that.
I figured you start going down the analytics path because we, you and I got heavily into PFF and the graded college players, and especially positions that people don't grade normally.
Well, I guess if we're going to go down that path, because I think analytics are something different than a site like a Pro Football Focus, right? Because analytics is more driven by different things like DVOA or EPA, all those sort of things. Are those things that you factor in when you're talking about the results that your teams have? Are you going to get more into those things?
I think there's a fine line on using that information to help your team. We've done a number of studies off-season. Every place that I've been, either you subscribe to some of that or you don't. What has changed for me in the last couple of years, the third and fourth down, go for it, don't go for it, right? A number of teams we played last year, first down was first down, second down. Third down was almost treated like second down, and then fourth down, third down. So a team, in my opinion, the coordinators have a DNA. Are they going to – is third and seven, or in their mind, are they always thinking, hey, this is two downs? We're going to go try to get half of it, and then fourth and three, go for it. So more than anything, looking at that from that scope, seeing how many plays you're going to have to defend as fourth down plays. And then also for us, the margin of error, I think, is thin. So we're going to have to take some chances on extending drives. I'm not going to say that we're going for it on every fourth down, but within reason, taking some of the human element out of it and say numbers say fourth and one, our team knows line up and we're going for it.
From your perspective defensively, football seems to be evolving more from – hey, between the 20s is something else, but red zone obviously is extremely important. And there's a lot of we use the phrase bend but don't break when it comes to defense. How much harder is it defensively the way the football is played now? And is there more of an importance? Red zone's always important. You don't get that wrong, but more of an emphasis on that red zone because that's more important.
It is hugely important, but then where does the red zone start, right? It used to be, it's a 20-yard line in. Now it's not. Every game plan now that I've taken in the last few years, again, coordinators are different. Where do they start changing their play calling a little bit? Is it inside the 30? Is it the 18-yard line? Where is it? What's that look like? So a lot of off-season studies on those things, trying to get not only looking at the roster of each team, but then let's look at the coordinator. Let's get a book on those guys on kind of having a step ahead when we get into the week preparation, where instead of this cramming it all into 6 days, now we're using some of the off-season time that we've had.
Barry Odom's with us. Let's talk defense and the style change, and we got to see some of it in the spring. So I probably pointed it out to you and lots of others. When I'm at spring practice, I'm like, there's 22 or 23 defensive backs. This is crazy. And then you shuffled some of them left, and it wasn't like, hey, let's get down to 16. Then there were more coming in, right? Like Javon Claiborne. Explain to the audience and football fans out there, like what you guys are going to try to do and why that back end is so important in terms of versatility and also making plays, I think, on every level.
Yeah, the way that you try to work defensively is from the front back. Okay, that's not what you're talking. You're talking about the defensive backs. Okay, they're not just pass defenders. They're structurally in our defense. They are in the run fit. So there's always going to be an edge of the defense. Is it a defensive end or is it one of your overhang players? Boundary safety, field safety, nickel. What does that look like? I think there's a lot of value in having position versatility and being able to play a lot of spots on the back end. Ultimately, you want your 11 best players on the field. You want speed on the field to be able to populate the ball. If we can eliminate explosive plays, if we can create takeaways, if we can live in the world of getting an offense behind the sticks, sacks, tackle for losses, making sure that we win first down. Times in my career that we've been really good in all those areas, and we've been a good defensive team. There's been times recently that we missed on the takeaways, some things on first down, And ultimately, that's the formula for us playing good defense on how we play structurally. And there's been times that we haven't done it. We've missed on one or two of those categories. We haven't been a very good defensive team. So I feel like I know the benchmarks on what we need to hit to get there. And then structurally, how do you piece together not only the skill set that you have, but then trying to find ways to get guys that are good run defenders, but also have tremendous speed on the field.
We were talking with Nakahina yesterday. Can you explain to us a little bit more about the role of what a defensive line is going to be like in this defense, and also how that kind of symbiotically matches up with what a defender is going to do as a DB and as a linebacker?
I want them to play aggressive and try to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. The linebackers need to make those guys right, and then ultimately the third level guys, they've got to catch it all, and they've got to fit. So the defensive line, not as much knowing where the guys behind them fit, but linebackers and DBs are tied together. Okay, if you're spilling the ball, then we've got to have an overhang player that fits it to the outside. You know where your strength and your help is. I want you to play aggressive and play on their side. The next level is going to clean it up.
When you're recruiting up front, right, because you can only make over the roster so much, and you've got a mix of interesting players on the defensive line. You got short, super strong dudes, and you got longer guys.
Yeah.
Ideally, what are you trying to recruit to from a measurable standpoint? Or is there still room for a mix of, big and small guys, speed guys, power guys?
Yeah, I think we'll always have an adjustment of what our roster is. But traditionally, if I'm putting together a recruiting class of 25, we're going to oversign on the O-line and D-line. Defensively, that's the question. I'm going to sign guys that can play the 3 technique, the shade, and the 1. Those are a little bit interchangeable. The guys on the outside, I would like to have 2 to 3. They can play a 4-eye or a 5, and then I want some guys athletically enough to stand up and play at an outside linebacker or jack buck position, typically into the boundary in our defensive system.
So where's the guy? I think, and you can argue with this, I guess, I think the most naturally talented, twitchy guy on the line is probably Dixon. But where does he? He's not a gigantic guy. Where does he kind of fit in a 3-3-5?
Which is great for him because he's got such versatility. Because I think we can get mismatches with him. We can stand him up at times. We can cover everybody else up and put him over the center. He's been able to do some of those things and trying to find ways to give him an advantage because of the way that he is. Quick twitch, fast movements, good change of direction. Some of those things are a little more position specific that he can fit.
When do you feel settled here? I feel like everything's going 1,000 miles an hour. I'm not in your shoes, but coming up, I think it's such a daunting task for you guys and then several other programs when you sit down with people and they're like, oh, we have 35 new guys in. We have 40 guys in. We have 27 new guys in. And then you start off getting ready for the season. You had spring, you had a little bit of summer, but now it's go time. And you've got 4.5 weeks to discover who can do what. Can the guy, because guys weren't here in the spring. This is nuts to me.
Yeah, I think a little bit experience for me has helped me out more than anything. The understanding of what we have coming out of spring ball, the areas we really need to address in fall camp. But then also the work that these guys have done, I'm proud of them, what they've done up to this point, because everything that we have laid out in front of them, they've went and attacked it and given everything that they've got to try to be a winning football team. We got a long ways to go, but I'm excited about this group. I'm excited about, I think we can make progress each week. I'm excited about what it looks like, team continuity. I'm excited about some of the leaders taking control of the locker room, taking control of the standard and the expectation of what we want the program to be. I'm excited to be this group's coach.
We're still trying to learn more about the go-go, and I don't know that I'll ever understand it because it looks very complicated to me. Can a power guy come in, and can a true freshman come in and in 5 or 6 weeks, that's a little longer than that because they've been with the program, actually be plugged in early in the season on the offensive line?
Yeah, I think so. And the one of the challenges I've had for our coaching staff, once we get a kid on campus, I'm taking the year off of his name. I don't care if he's a senior or a freshman. It's our job to get him ready to go play. And I don't care if he's a freshman and we do a good enough job coaching him, then he ought to be in position to play winning football. So years I'm all for experience. I like that. But I want to play as many guys as we can if we can get them to the level of playing winning football.
So as you're building the program, you go out recruiting. I've noticed some of the commits and a lot of the offers. These are pockets where I assume you recruited in the past, right, at Mizzou and Arkansas. So we're talking Texas. You got looks like you did some good work in the Kansas City area. What do you pitch? Like, because I'm sure it's a kind of a fresh thing. Like UNLV,
Yep, right.
What are you pitching?
Well, number one, I want to recruit Las Vegas. That is our home. That's where we've got to make a lot of ground up. There's really good football players here. There's really good high school coaches. And that's number one priority for me. We've got to continue to do that. We're off to a really good start in 2024 in the city. We got to continue to do that. Okay. Why do we do that? There's good enough players here to win, in my opinion, to win a championship here. Okay. That also continues to get investment from the city and our program, the program into the city. It works together. It's going to get people in Allegiant. We need guys and families and donors and supporters and people of Las Vegas. We need to turn it into a home field advantage. Okay. Buy your season tickets. That is part of the plan on getting this program where it needs to be. We're also, in my opinion, you look at, there's one Vegas in the world. You can get to Vegas from a flight from Dallas-Fort Worth to Vegas direct for about $48. We can recruit that area. We can recruit Houston, recruit Kansas City. For 23 years, I've recruited, and our staff, for the most part, has recruited that area of the country. There's really good football there. There's good players that fit for us. The opportunity to come to UNLV to write our legacy together, that's a selling point. That's a pitch that they can come in. They've got an opportunity to do something that hasn't been done, and that's a big part of it. They step onto our campus. They see the campus. They go in Fertitta. They get to Allegiant. Those things are unmatched. And I'm not going to take a back seat to anybody when it comes to recruiting.
Do you find that when you're recruiting for, players outside of the state, are there still reservations about what Las Vegas is as a city?
You look at some of those opportunities.
Yeah.
What is Vegas known for? I was here a number of times before I took the job. I didn't know it was anything besides the Strip, right? So it's an education piece on, it's like a real town, right? You got grocery stores and post office and neighborhoods, and it's a beautiful city, a wonderful place. And I think more than anything, it's an educational piece on, yes, there's that part of it. It's also the sports mecca of the world. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of that?
Well, I was just going to say it because I would think, because there's two ways to look at it. There's, if you're a straight up Vegas person like me, that I was raised out here, and you're pitching to somebody like, well, of course you think that you're from here.
Yeah.
I would think there's a comfort in somebody who, isn't exactly from here pitching that, like, no, look, I've been out here.
Sure.
It's a lot different than you think it is, and I like it out here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And there is a narrative there that people will use against us with that. That's very narrow-minded. So, the opportunity to be able to sell the city of Las Vegas, it's been fun for me.
Last one. You took a vacation. You made it public by tweeting it out there, so I'll mention it. What do you get out of a trip to Italy?
It was unbelievable. We got a chance to take our three kids. My wife and I took our three kids. We tried to go in 2020. Something happened that year. We couldn't go. 21, we still couldn't travel. And then couldn't get away in 22. And finally, we decided if we're going to do this before our kids get out of the house for good, we better do it. So we did, and flew to Rome and rented a car and took off. And it was unbelievable. We had great family opportunity and time, unbelievable food.
I was going to go,
Yeah. And some of the things historically, the Colosseum and some of the different things that we were just able to see, I never thought I would ever have an opportunity to do something like that. I mean, I flew one time growing up. I was 6 years old, and we flew to California for a funeral. The next time I flew was on a plane, was my first away game as a freshman in college.
Wow.
So to be able to go and do something like that, you go and we toured the Vatican. I mean, life-changing for me.
Very cool.
I was going to ask, is there an Italian dish that you had up there that you thought was authentic when you were eating it here in the United States that was completely different out there?
I don't know. Things, the foods here is amazing.
Right.
It's really good. I don't know if it was the air. I don't know if it was the lemonade. Food is really good there. I mean, like everything's homemade,
Yes.
right? Or made there right in front of the pizza. Let me tell, off the chart. I've got a list I'm going to send to you guys.
Okay, good.
It just like I would eat it and I'd be like, man, that's the best ever. And then it'd go the next day to a different spot and I'm like, no, wait, that's better than yesterday was.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
We're up against it. We appreciate your time. So this is a good look ahead or a good tease. Everyone remember this. About 30 days from now, we'll probably do about 10 minutes on Italy, the Barry Odom radio show. So we'll.
I've got bullet point notes.
Yes, you'll be ready to go.
It'll be awesome.
Item by item. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate it.